And internet application is fine. So now we have the application, and if we run it, it's a basic MVC4 template, which is fine. So let's add a class here. I'm going to add this class in the model folder, and I'm going to call it contact. And inside of this class, I'm going to have an integer 32 of type called ID, and string first name, string middle name, and string last name. First, middle, and last name, we'll add address, city, state, and zip. And why not country also? Okay, I think that's good enough for us. So let's see, I want to have this as a required field. So I will add an attribute and resolve it to the system component model data annotation class, which we'll add a reference to up here. And I also would like to have the first name and last name is required. Okay, so that takes care of this issue. And I also would like to have a class to use to write to the database. So I will add here a public class called DB contact of type DB context and inherit from DB context. And let's resolve the reference here to the data entity framework. And here I will have a public DB set of type contact called contacts, and we'll have get and set for this, and this should be it. So here, and first of all, in my view, under layout, I'm going to add a new menu entry here called well, actually, we do have a contacts menu entry, but it's in the home. So let's call this index and say contact here, and we're going to make a new controller here. So let's add a new controller. Well, before we add the controller though, let's compile and run this project just to make sure our model gets compiled and we get an auto IntelliSense. All right, so compile and ran. So now we can add our controller. And we will call this contact. And here I'm going to select MVC controller with read, write actions and views using Entity Framework. So what this does, it basically creates the whole everything, including read and write and delete and detail and list. So all using the Entity Framework. Now the model that I will choose is called contact, and the data context class we call the DB contact, and just click add. So what Visual Studio does is it runs them through, and it creates all the different methods, action controllers that I need, action methods to do everything, including an index to list it, and details view, a create with a post back, an edit also with a post back, and a delete with an HTTP post. So, and it disposes it for you too. So you're pretty much done here in terms of CRUD. The last part of this demonstration is for us to add a new connection string, really. And let me grab it. So I have an actual full installation of SQL database on this machine. So I will choose localhost here with the default SA password, which works equally as well. The other connection string here is what Visual Studio put in for our login and authentication that comes with the default Internet MVC4 template. So let's run this application and see what happens. So looks like it ran, and if we click on contact, let's see if that gives us a valid page, and it does. Now our columns are a bit squished together, but overall it looks pretty good. Let's create a new entry, and I'm just going to put the regular John Doe 1 Main Street, Chicago, USA, and I'm just going to hit create here. So it looks like that part of it is working correctly. Let's add another one, maybe a Jane Doe and 2 Main Street, also in Chicago. Okay, and USA. All right, so looks like the ad is working. How about if I edit something here? Is everything working there? Yep, that looks like that's working also. And of course, I don't want to leave garbage behind here, even if it is a um, local database. Okay, excellent. And let's put a garbage post. We'll call this test person. And I believe those were the only fields that were required, so it should allow me to add it. And if I view details, yeah, that's working too. And can I delete it? Are you sure you want to delete this? Yes, delete. Okay, so all our CRUD operation is working. Let's take a look at our SQL Server and see if these values are in fact going into our SQL Server. So here is our SQL database, and it looks like yes, the DB contact database was created by Visual Studio when we first ran this application. And notice that the DBO contacts is also available with the fields that we specified. And if I want to select some rows here, yep, these are our two entries that we just made. Of course, I could have added a timestamp field here to keep track of what time they were added, but otherwise it looks pretty good. Now, if you're curious what actually keeps track of um, these changes to the tables, you can expand the system tables section, and there's a table called DBO migration history that has three different fields: migration ID, model, and product version. And this is created by Visual Studio. So if I select the records in there, um, what I see here is the initial creation of this model, which has a hexadecimal value. Doesn't mean a whole lot to us. And it gives it a product version even. And that's how it keeps track of the various changes to the table. So that's why it's usually important for Entity Framework to create this database itself, and that you don't create the database for it. Um, it could cause some issues. So I hope that you found this tutorial useful. Please subscribe and ask any questions or comments you may have on the video. And stay tuned for the next part of this tutorial. Thanks.